Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have been in this House now for 6 months, and I regrettably rise today to express my frustration, and I know the frustration of thousands of people in my district in southwest Alabama, and I believe people all over the United States of America. People are tired of the stagnation coming from Washington. Just look at the disapproval rating of this Congress and the disapproval rating of our president. The people of this country want to see action. Action on growing our economy. Action on cutting spending. Action on health care. Action on immigration. Action on the crisis at the VA. Action on foreign policy and all the problems we see around the world that involve our interests. They want to see action. Just earlier this week, I was at the White House for a bill signing ceremony for the Workforce Investment Act, or the Skills Act, as we called it here in the House. The Skills Act was a great example of Democrats and Republicans in this House and the Senate coming together behind a common goal of improving our nation's workforce training programs, so important at this time in our recovering economy. During the bill signing ceremony, the President implored us to send more bipartisan job-creating bills his way. The problem is the President doesn't need to lecture this House on that. The President needs to look no further than the Majority Leader in the Senate, the gentleman from Nevada. In the House, we have passed nearly 300 bills that are sitting in the Senate waiting for action. At least 40 of those bills are job-creating bills. We have continued in this House to do the people's work, making our way through 7 of the appropriation bills that we are required by the Constitution to pass to fund the government. The Senate has not completed a single one. Now, some may say the issue is that Republican senators have demanded to have amendments considered. I don't think that's too much to ask. Here in the House, we considered at least 180 minority amendments to appropriations bills alone. 180. One of my colleagues in the House from the other side of the aisle was quoted in an article saying that she wanted to, quote, thank the Republicans for their generosity. I'm just grateful for the bipartisanship here, close quote. That's not the same message coming out of the do-nothing Senate. One Democratic senator was quoted as saying that he has, quote, a hard time getting on the train in the morning. Former Senate leaders Tom Daschle and Trent Lott have said the Senate has, quote, degenerated into a polarized mess, close quote. Now, this probably shouldn't come as much of a surprise to us because, yet again this year, the Senate failed to even pass a budget. I was just elected this past December. Prior to that, I was in the Alabama State Senate. And in our state, the state of Alabama, as in most states, our legislature is required to pass a budget and appropriations bills every year on time, and they have to be balanced. And so every year, the Alabama legislature passes budgets and the appropriations in them on time, and they're balanced. And the United States Congress can't do that. The greatest debating body ever known to the world, the United States Senate, can't do that. I can't imagine what the people in my district would think if they saw the inaction coming from the United States Senate. But they see the results of it, and it troubles them greatly. We have seen this song and dance before, and most of us now know how it's going to end. At some point, sooner rather than later, the House will be forced to consider a continuing resolution to prevent a government shutdown. The Senate can prevent this by following the House and doing the people's work, making the hard decisions, and advancing individual appropriations bills as we have done in the House. That's how government is supposed to work, and that's the only way we're going to be able to make serious reforms to spending programs. I've come to this body a number of times to offer amendments to pending bills that would have cut spending, and I'm going to keep pushing for these types of strategic spending reductions. But when the Senate refuses to do its part, it makes this process impossible. The Senate's inaction is going to force those in the House to make an unfair choice, and I ask them to act differently for the people of this country so we can get things done. And I yield back.
The time of the gentleman.